Welcome, everybody, to Tuesday Travel Chat. I'm one of your hosts, Julia.
And I'm Bob, your other host for today.
And we have a very special guest. We have Tom Muldoon from MSC Cruises. He's going to be telling us all about MSC's restart here in the Caribbean this summer. But before we get into that, Bob, let's do some news.
Okay.
I think we should start with some fun news in the travel world, Bob. How about New York?
Definitely. Yes. After many a year of hoping and waiting, Legoland New York has opened. It opened in the town of Goshen up in the Hudson River Valley, about 60 miles due north of Manhattan. It looks fantastic. It looks like a lot of fun. It's a lot different in look than other Lego properties, but each one is represented by the area. So Legoland opened last week, 60 miles northeast of the city, north of New York City. That's it. Yes.
It's fun seeing things just continually opening. Love it. Love it. Okay. And then Hawaii is a big travel spot right now. So what's going on there, Bob?
Well, Hawaii has decided, especially in particular Maui, has decided that they are probably going to add a tourist tax of 3% roughly for tourists, for hotels, Airbnb stays, extended rentals, things like that, just to create more money for infrastructure, to keep the tourists moving around.
Something good to know. You just need to prepare. Budget properly if you are thinking about heading to Hawaii this summer or beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my favorite news of this weekend, I had to set all my alarms this weekend on Sunday because Richard Branson made it up out into space. And you know that Go Travel, we are always on it. We are big space fanatics, and we can't wait to be sending our clients into space. Right. So keep a lookout for that. But in the meantime, we're going to be watching this news. Let's take a little peek to see what that looked like. This is just super exciting here. Yes. Oh, there he is out with his team. So cool. History-making space flight. And Bezos is about to be following up with that very soon. I think next week.
Next week, Jeff Bezos is supposed to go up, yes, with his brother and someone who paid $25 million in a contest for charity to go with him.
And also a female space flight engineer. He's bringing up really neat, fantastic news. Now, coming back down to earth, Renaissance of Rail. Tell us, Bob.
Well, Renaissance of Rail is something that's been going on for the last 3 or 4 years, especially in Europe. So what they've done is they've discovered that in Europe, rail travel is literally the easiest way to get from city to city. If you were to fly from France to Nice, you're 2.5 hours at the airport. You're for a 45-minute flight to get down to Nice. You can do it on the Train Bleu, which is a train grande vitesse, a very fast train. But what they're recognizing is that people don't want to stay in hotels just to have to get up at 7 a.m. to get to their next meeting. So Paris is going to be starting in several years, midnight trains where they're going to go to 12 destinations. There's going to be some trains from Zurich to Barcelona. And Italy has added 10 more trains that are going to be doing sightseeing out into the countryside along the rail, and it's gorgeous scenery, especially in some of the rails that have been only used for freight. And there's a whole company getting ready to company called Night Train, which will be again gorgeous sleeping accommodations on the train to go between city and city. It's the way you used to travel in Europe. Paris, for example, Paris to Berlin is 8 hours by train. So imagine getting on the train at midnight, waking up at 8 o'clock in Berlin. So
for travelers out there, a whole new style, but a retro style is re-emerging. So keep a lookout for that, and we'll be letting you know more as more options are available. And finally, our final piece of news in the headlines, the UK.
Well, it's been going back and forth, but the idea is that the UK will finally open up to U.S. vaccinated travelers within the next several weeks. It was supposed to happen a little bit earlier, but with their COVID outbreak, with their variant from India, it has put things on the side burner. But now that the vaccine has shown efficacy against the Delta variant and the Lambda variant, at least according to what I read in the news. I'm not a doctor. UK is looking to open up to fully vaccinated tourists. We were on the amber list, but if we're vaccinated, we'll be off their amber list. So that's good news for travelers.
It's coming. It's coming. Europe is slowly getting there. Mm-hmm. So very good. Well, in a second here, we are going to bring on Tom Muldoon from MSC, but just want a reminder today, we are here live. If you have questions today, put them in the comments. We want to hear from you. We want to get all those questions answered. Things are constantly changing, so it's great to go right to the source, right direct to the cruise line with our friends, with our suppliers here on Tuesday Travel Chat. And do hit the like button. We love to hear that. We love to hear that you are happy to be here and join us today. But without further ado, let's bring on Tom. Hey there, Tom.
Oh, we lost you. You're mute.
Oh, no. Bring you back. Bring you back. Nope.
I think he's... No.
Oh. Hey, Tom, we're going to bring you right back. Exit and then just come back in. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, I just want to show you. We were going to show this in a little bit, but I think it'd be fun to show you ahead of time. MSC is just always pushing the boundaries as far as its digital presence, as far as trying to just be ahead of the game. So let's take a quick look at that while we're waiting for Tom to jump back on.
Good.
From the very beginning, MSC haven't just offered cruises. We've practiced an art. The art of hospitality. Decades of expertise, passion, craftsmanship, and care. We've once again brought MSC into another era, investing in a new cruising experience fueled by technology and inspired by people. MSC for me. A connected cruise experience that makes every moment unforgettably special. An experience that gives you control of your cruise. MSC for me means you won't miss a thing with a real-time cruise planner that sends you reminders of exciting events and offers. With informative touchscreens throughout the ship. And Zoe, your in-cabin virtual assistant, ready to help with reservations. MSC for me saves you valuable time with mobile check-in and check-out, credit card registration on the app, an interactive map, and Zoe, there to help with any inquiry about your cruise. MSC for me is technology tailored to you, with pre-cruise booking to start planning when it suits you. And it means you can stay in touch through MSC for me chat. And the family and friends locator. So you can take time out and regroup whenever you want. To us, your time is precious. MSC for me helps you make the most of every moment. MSC for me. Connect. Enjoy. Just be.
I absolutely love that video. Tom, can we hear you?
You tell me.
Yes, we can hear you. Amazing, amazing. Right. Tom, talk to us. Where are you coming from today? And just introduce yourself a bit and MSC.
All right. Well, I'm coming from my beautiful home up here in gorgeous Sanford, Florida, and just getting ready. We're actually getting ready to start making sales calls again in the next week or so. So getting ready to be back out on the road a little bit. It's good news.
Fantastic. We're all here in Florida. I love it. And the big news is that cruising is returning here in Florida with MSC.
It's awesome. You know, we've been waiting a while to come back to the U.S. market. I mean, we haven't sailed out of the U.S. since March 13th of 2020. So we're looking forward to August 2nd, our very first cruise on the Meraviglia, going right out of Miami on a short 3-night sailing.
It's so cool. we have all those announcements. We're going to get in all of that today. And I just want to kind of give a preview of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about where MSC has already been operating, because here in the US, we don't hear all of the cruise news of what's going on in Europe and other parts of the world. We just kind of live in our own little bubble and see how we're affected. But MSC has actually been operating in Europe. So we're going to hear a little bit about that. We're going to talk about the summer 2021 Caribbean restart. Of course, safety and protocols, and that free balcony upgrade special that is running right now. Right. Can't wait. So let's talk about the world. This is a map, Tom, that we were showing. Obviously, you can see it says February. Back in February, when we were trying to explain to all of the travelers in the US, hey, look, cruising has resumed, just not here. And you can see all of those cruises there over there in Europe. A big chunk of those are actually MSC. So talk to us about what's been going on with MSC coming out of the pandemic, 2020, 2021, and what you guys did to resume.
Well, I'll tell you, Julia, once the pandemic really came into itself, in 2020, and everybody in the world pretty much knew there was going to be a major issue. We set ahead and started doing a lot of research and on how we could make cruising safe for our passengers and for our crew and for our ships. So we worked on that, and then we came up with a plan, and we started actually cruising on the MSC Grandiosa out of Genoa in August of last year, August 16th of last year. And since then, we've brought 6 more ships online, sailing in Europe and in the UK. And like I said, we're just getting ready for this startup here, August 2nd, here in the U.S. So it's very exciting news. We had a great run of success during the pandemic over in Europe. We had, didn't have any issues at all with any of our sailings. Everything worked out great. The protocols that we put in place to make sure the passengers and the crew were safe all worked. And so everything worked out great. We've been trying to talk to the CDC for a year, trying to have them adopt our protocols because they work so well. And, with all the other cruise lines, we finally got together and kind of forced the CDC's hand to bring cruising back to the U.S. And Governor DeSantis helped as well here in Florida. And so, August 2nd is the date to start back in Florida.
I love that story, because the ones making the headlines are some of the other brands, but really all the cruise lines have come together, and bringing your Europe experience in was just a fantastic help. And think about the fact that MSC was running before the vaccine was even a consideration. That wasn't even there yet. So it's really cool to see how successful you guys have been in making just clean and safe cruising before we had that additional boost, having the vaccine to assist in resuming travel. So let's talk about Florida. This is why we're here today. Let's talk about that Florida resumption. So you have MSC Meraviglia doing cruises from Miami starting in August?
Yep. The Meraviglia will start sailing out of Miami on 3 and 4 night sailings only in August. August 2nd will be the first sailing. And what she'll do is she'll sail up until September 13th on those short 3 and 4 day sailings, and then she's going to move to a 7-night itinerary. So she'll be year-round 7-night sailings out of Miami on the Meraviglia to the Eastern and Western Caribbean. Now, I made a mistake. I said year-round. She's not actually going to be in Miami year-round. She's going to be in Miami up until November, and then we bring her into Port Canaveral. So we'll have her in Port Canaveral starting in November. But before that, we're bringing the MSC Divina into Port Canaveral to be our first ship ever to sail on a regular basis out of Port Canaveral. So she'll start sailing September 16th on 3, 4, and 7-night cruises out of Port Canaveral. And then, like I said, they switch out. The Meraviglia comes up to Port Canaveral for the winter months through April. And then the Divina comes back into Port Canaveral and replaces her. So we'll have a year-round presence in Port Canaveral, whether it's the Divina or the Meraviglia. So it's great news.
And so for those most immediate sailings, if you want to jump on board, especially with all of these great deals that MSC is running right now, Meraviglia, again, starts in Miami, and Divina will be starting in Port Canaveral for those initial sailings. So let's hear more about that Meraviglia option.
Oh boy, the Meraviglia, she's such a beautiful ship. She was built back in 2017. She's our largest model of ship that's sailing right now, or class of ship that's sailing right now. You know, she's spectacular. She holds around 5,000 passengers. She's got her real central feature about the ship is that she has the largest LED screen at sea. It runs down the whole middle of the ship, and I think I might have sent you some pictures of it during the daytime. It's lit up. It'll look like the Sistine Chapel or like stained glass, and then we can change it around at night. It has starburst going off and things like that, but it's a huge screen, multicolor. So the ship itself is beautiful. She has a number of her own individually specialty dining restaurants. And like I said, she's going to do mostly 3 and 4 night sailings out of Port Canaveral. She does have the 1-5 night there on her last sailing before she starts her 7-night sailing. So sailings are going to include Ocean Key, our brand new private island that didn't get a whole lot of use last year. We opened it up in December of 2019. So the private island, as well as sailing into Nassau as well.
Very cool. We're going to jump into Ocean Key shortly, but again, Meraviglia, this is running that special right now, which is book an inside stateroom and get a free upgrade to balcony, right, Tom?
Yeah, we are. You know, the ship we you know, with the industry the way it is, and the pandemic and everything, we certainly have a need to fill these 3 and 4 night sailings that are just starting off in August and early September. So we're running this special. It's pay an inside rate, get a balcony cabin. You can book this all the way up through the 25th of July, and it's 4 sailings in August and September only on the Meraviglia 3 and 4 night sailings and that 1-5 night out of Miami. So it's an incredible deal. I mean, you know, if you haven't cruised before, this is a great chance to just spend a little bit of money and do a short cruise and have a great experience. If you've cruised a lot, it's a great way to get back out there and kind of experience post-pandemic cruising and what it's all about. And of course, you know, as time goes on, I'm sure, you know, some of the restrictions and things that are out there are going to be relaxed, and we'll be back to cruising, you know, the way it was a year ago, before, you know, 2 years ago, before we know it.
Well, and Tom, what's great, we're already getting some comments here. Sarah says, I love Meraviglia. Janice also says, I love Zoe, from some of the digital items that we were hearing. Janice wants to know, does she have dedicated conference space?
The ship itself, she does have a small business center that holds about 35 people. But no like set up conference rooms. But what we do is we're able to do meetings on board the ship. We have AV equipment available in all of the lounges, as well as the restaurants and some of the other areas. So we are able to do meeting space on board all of our cruise ships, and that's a regular part of our business. So we do those quite a bit. Pretty much every sailing, we have meetings, incentive, and people on board, people who are conducting business meetings and things like that. So we're able to handle all of that.
Fantastic. Well, let's jump in again with these itineraries that we're seeing. Ocean Key is the big spot that it's going. Can you talk to us a little bit more about that?
Oh yeah, Ocean Key is spectacular. So the island itself is in the Bahamas, and before MSC bought it, the island had been used for a sand mining operation. So they were extracting sand from the area. So there was a lot of equipment on there and old stuff. And so when MSC bought the island, we basically went in and cleaned up the whole island, and we cleaned up all the waters all around the island. And then we planted 70,000 natural habitat, bushes, plants, trees on the island itself, and basically dug out a lagoon in it. And it's just beautiful. And I'll tell you, I was there in right before the pandemic in December of 2019. And I've seen recent pictures of it, and all the foliage has really grown in. I mean, the island itself is beautiful. You've got 8 different beaches on the island. Every beach has its own bathroom facilities. It has its own food facilities and its own shower facilities and bar. So you don't ever have to walk very far to get any of those three major things, bathroom facilities, food, and a bar. So everything's very close by. And we have a section at the very end of the island just for those people who book our yacht club accommodations, which are our high-end accommodations on board the ship. We've got shore excursions going on there all day long and into the evening. We do some stargazing at night. We do a big laser light show by the lighthouse. During the day, you can snorkel, rent a wave runner, go paddle boarding, all kinds of different things to do, lay on a raft in the lagoon. It's just a spectacular island. Some of our competitors offer islands that have, water parks and things like that. And that's all great. But ours is really just a natural Bahamian island, as you might have seen, and just beautiful beaches and hammocks and food and great places to hang out and have a good time.
Tom, I have a question about the island. I noticed you have some nighttime shore experiences. What time does the ship sail from Ocean Cay?
So it really depends on the itinerary you're on. We basically do three different things. We will stay from 8 in the morning until 6 p.m. We have some sailings that stay from 8 in the morning until midnight. And then we have a few other sailings that go from 8 in the morning or 9 in the morning until 6 p.m. the following day. So it really just depends on the specific itinerary that you're on.
Wow.
Well, and again, this Ocean Cay, it's really a tribute to doing something with the environment, right? I mean, this is my understanding that this is not my expertise, but from an environmental point of view, this place is really pushing the boundaries.
Well, it's not just an island; it is a marine reserve. So the 90 square miles around the island are all designated as a marine reserve. Matter of fact, on the island itself, we have a research facility set up in conjunction with the University of Miami. We're actually farming coral right there on the island and planting it in the waters around the island. So the whole thing is really, like I said, set up as a marine reserve. So there's no fishing in the immediate waters right around the island, and it's protected by the Bahamian government. So it's a little bit different than, like I said, than some of our competitors offer. It's a beautiful, beautiful place.
You can feel good about going there and that you're actually contributing to keeping the earth a beautiful place.
That's true. It's true.
Well, essentially, you've recreated a total new ecosystem on the island.
Exactly.
With all the plants and things.
Exactly, but it's all natural Bahamian foliage and everything that was on the other Bahamian islands. So it's all natural and native to the area.
Do you have pictures? Do they have pictures on the island to show what it used to look like?
Well, you can find them actually on that's on the travel agent site, but yeah, I mean there's pictures on there's pictures on the regular consumer website.
Okay, good.
USA. Yeah.
It's always nice to see before and after.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, it's grown in a lot in the past year and a half.
And you can go there on any of these sailings, which is great.
You can, and I mean, Ocean Cay, being that it's kind of in a bubble in itself, it's really going to be a focal point of all of our cruises here, especially during the startup again.
Well, you had mentioned the ship. You were talking about some of the fantastic places on the Meraviglia, and of course, we'll dive into the Divina a bit later. But talk about some of these features that are on board.
Well, the picture you're showing right there, that's the central atrium of the ship. So you've got your shore excursion desk there. You've got your hotel desk, and then of course it's really a central meeting point on the whole ship. It's a 5-story atrium, but it's just beautiful. We have you can see the staircases there, and the picture's probably not doing it any justice. But those are Swarovski crystal staircases, $5,000 a step. The ship is just so beautiful and elegant on the inside, and she has beautiful lines on the outside. Mm-hmm. So one thing that I will mention this, Julia, one thing that's not really that well known about MSC, since we're not, a hugely well-known company here in the U.S., is that we're really a family cruise line. So during certain times of the year, you'll have a lot of families on board our ships. We have great children's programs. The Meraviglia has a huge deck up on the top of the ship that has all the areas for the kids. There's a court up there where they can play soccer and basketball, and we've got all the kids programs broken down into 5 different age groups, so they've got activities all day long and then things going on in the evening. All the cool games and Formula One simulators that we have, and the water parks on our ships. We're really made a big splash in the family market over in Europe, and we're hoping to do the same over here. And of course, like any other cruise line, depending on the time of year you sail, sometimes you have a lot of families on board, like the summer and the holidays. And then, you sail in the fall and the spring, and kids are in school, and we're really more of an adult cruise line at that point.
This is a good reminder that really MSC has something for everybody. But I think, Bob, that $5,000 a step is going to be your favorite new piece of trivia. Am I wrong?
Yes, it definitely is. And I had to find out how many steps there are. But yes, it's like walking on a stairway to heaven on diamonds.
Well, Julie, this is a great picture. This is the largest LED screen at sea. It's about 900 feet long. You've got all your shops and restaurants right there. The screen, as you can see, is just it's really like a stained glass type thing, but we can change it into whatever we want. One cool thing we do for meetings, and if anybody has anything special going on, is we'll put a message up there. So, will you marry me, or happy anniversary to so-and-so, or welcome aboard the Jones family. We can do anything up there. So it's a really versatile area of the ship.
I just want to repeat the fact that what you're seeing right there, that is not a stained glass window. That is not some piece of ship. That is all LED screen. And it is wild to see the constant changes. Like you said, the Sistine Chapel, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, beautiful.
Absolutely. And then the duplex suite.
Yeah, so the Meraviglia has a lot of different types of cabins. She's got the standard inside, the ocean view, and the balcony, but she's got the yacht club cabins, which are really a ship within a ship concept. She's got these 2-story suites. Not pictured here is upstairs, is you've got the king size bed, and then out on the balcony you have a huge balcony and your own whirlpool. So the ship itself has a large variety of different accommodations, different suites, family suites that will hold up to 10 passengers. So she's just very well equipped to handle pretty much anybody.
I love it. And again, 3, 4, and 5 night sailings on the MSC Meraviglia. These are the ones. Book an inside, get that free upgrade to balcony, and that's only until July 25th.
It is. We just extended the sale, so it's going to run until July 25th, and it will definitely expire on July 25th.
Tom, through what time period is that? Is it any cruise in the Meraviglia, or is it just for the 3, 4, and 5 night sailings?
Well, Bob, look at the perfect timing.
Here we are.
It is the 3, 4, and the 1 5 night sailing between August 2nd and December, I believe it's 12th. I can't really see your screen there.
Oh, it's okay. Yes, Tom's working from a phone over here. So it's August 2nd through September 13th, which is that final sailing, which is the 5 night sailing. And as you can see, it's Nassau and Ocean Key for the 4 night, or if you just do the 3 night, you go to Ocean Key. Mm-hmm. And I just need to point out also the starting rates there. You can see those are cruise only per person based on double occupancy. Imagine that is an inside rate and you get a free upgrade to balcony. This is insane. This is wild. Get on it.
Hey, Julia, let me mention one other thing also. If you apply for any discounts, if you're applicable to any discounts, they count against these rates. So if you're a healthcare worker, you can get a discount on this. If you're a past passenger, you can get a discount on it. If you're military, there's a discount available on top of those rates. So keep that in mind as well. The rate can actually even go lower, surprisingly.
That's right. I know you guys offer so many different discounts for these people on the front lines. It's fantastic. So let's jump in. That was all about Meraviglia. That was the Miami huge special. But for a lot of us Central Floridians, Port Canaveral is just outside our door. And I think we've got a lot of people interested in that.
Yeah, this is going to be great. The MSC's only had a ship pull into Port Canaveral, for a day here and there. And I think the last time we were in Port Canaveral was, I think the year I joined the company, 2016.
Right.
So it's big news to finally have a ship here in Port Canaveral when it starts in September. I've been fighting for this for 5 years, so it's great to have it actually happen. Those of us that live here in Central Florida, we know that Port Canaveral is such an easy port to get in and out of. Even if you fly here, it's a quick shot from the airport to right straight into the Port Canaveral to do it. There's lots of hotels over in that area of Port Canaveral and the Cape Canaveral area to stay if you wanted to come in early, and a lot to do in the Cocoa Beach and Cape Canaveral area. So it's a great port to be sailing out of, and we're real excited that the Divina is going to be coming in September.
Now, it's 3, 4, and 7 night itineraries, including Nassau and Ocean Cay, or the Costa Maya and Cozumel for the 7 nights. So you can see those 3 itinerary options there on the screen.
Yep, that's correct. So, and there's a beautiful picture of that's actually the largest theater at sea on board the MSC Meraviglia. It's beautiful theater, no obstructions, no columns in the middle. Just a great picture of the theater, and of course, it's a great time to show that because MSC is very well known, and we win awards every single year for our entertainment on board our ships.
That's great. And then the infinity pool. This is Divina, or this is Divina, correct?
It is. So the Divina's got the infinity pool on the back deck. It's such a hit. We're putting it on the brand new Seashore that's going to be sailing out of Miami starting in November as well. And so she's got the beautiful infinity pool. I'll tell you, the Divina was the first MSC ship that I walked onto, and when I first stepped foot on her, the word elegance just came to mind. She's just so elegant. She's got the plush colors, just very well appointed, very well laid out. Elegant is just the word for her. She's a beautiful, beautiful ship. And even though, she's nowadays, she was built in 2012, so she's 9 years old. But she is just an amazing ship, and we're lucky to have her in Canaveral.
Someone described her once as richly textured.
That's
rich
good.
colors and a lot of textures in the ship.
Yes, that is true.
Here we can see the dates and itineraries that are on offer for these restart sailings out of Port Canaveral. So September 16th through November 21st. Quite a number of options, 3, 7, and 4 night cruises, whatever you are looking for, especially if you're coming from Central Florida and you want to keep it close. This is a fantastic option for you.
Just have to mention one thing about the pricing. In disclosure, they do not include the port fees or government taxes. So that's a little extra on top. Just getting it out there before I get yelled at.
Of course. This is how it's always listed. So we start with just the cruise fare, and then there's always those taxes on top. Now, we have a lot of questions, Tom, in the message box about health and safety.
Okay.
Shall I start with MSC's official video, and then maybe you could comment on it and tell us what maybe has been potentially updated, and speak to that.
Well, certainly.
Yes. So, Tom, we'll jump into that. I'm going to show you a few of the questions so that you kind of know what people are thinking today. How do the protocols differ from some of the other cruise lines? Sarah's asking, do you have to be fully vaccinated to sail? and also about the capacity. What capacity will we be sailing at? So just so you can see it all right in front of you.
Well, let's start first of all. What we've done for cruising in the U.S. is we basically separate passengers into two groups. You're either vaccinated or you're not. So there's two groups. And then it involves children as well, because children 12 and under, are not able to get vaccinated at this point. So if you are a child 12 or under and both of your parents are vaccinated, you're considered vaccinated. If either one of your parents is not vaccinated, you're considered non-vaccinated. So like I said, we break everything down on either vaccinated or non-vaccinated, and then we move forward from there. So we recommend that everybody do get a vaccination before they cruise and 2 weeks prior before their cruise. But if they don't want to get a vaccination, they can obviously still cruise with us. Let me go over a little bit about the protocols, like when you get to the pier, and even before that. So if you are vaccinated, you basically show up at the pier at the time that the time you've been assigned, with your vaccination card in hand. You're actually not a photocopy, but the actual card in hand. If you are non-vaccinated, before you ever get to the pier, within 72 hours of getting to the pier, you have to go get a COVID test, and you have to test negative for it. So that's the first difference between being vaccinated and non-vaccinated. Non-vaccinated people have to go get a COVID test and have it negative and bring that result with them to the pier. So we stagger the embarkation so that the terminal is not completely full at any one time. So people are supposed to arrive at the times that we've given them. Everybody who gets to the terminal gets a COVID test given by MSC. So COVID test, you get the COVID test. If you test negative, you go on board the ship. Obviously, if you test positive, you are not able to board, whether you're vaccinated or non-vaccinated. Now, if you are vaccinated and you test positive, other members in your party who are traveling with you can, if they are vaccinated as well and they test negative, they can still get on board the ship. If you are non-vaccinated and you test positive, other party members in your group, whether they test positive or negative, if they're non-vaccinated, they are not allowed to get on board the ship as well. So that's just kind of the start of how we start protecting the crew and the other passengers on board the ship. So there are a number of things on board the ship. When you're on board the ship, if you're indoors and you're not eating and drinking, you do have to wear a mask, and that's for everybody who's on board the ship, vaccinated or non-vaccinated. When you're outdoors, you do not have to wear a mask at all. We do practice social distancing, so that will be affected and will show up in all of the different activities that we do on board the ships. I think Bob mentioned buffets. We still have the buffet, but it's not really a buffet that you can serve yourself. Basically, we have people serving you food from the buffet. And one big thing also is shore excursions. So if you're doing if you're on board the ship and you are non-vaccinated and you want to get off in a port of call, you have to do it with an MSC approved shore excursion. So you have to take an MSC excursion to be able to get off the ship if you are non-vaccinated. If you're vaccinated, you can just walk off the ship and go into the port as you please. You can do an MSC excursion if you want. You can book an outside excursion through another company if you want. However you want to do it, you're able to do that. But again, non-vaccinated people do have to get off. If they want to get off the ship, they have to be in an MSC approved shore excursion. One exception to that is our private island, Ocean Key. Ocean Key, we do have it kind of in a bubble there. So all guests, whether you're vaccinated or non-vaccinated, are able to get off the ship in Ocean Key and enjoy the island. So there are some differences there between vaccinated and non-vaccinated. One last thing with people who are non-vaccinated, you have to purchase MSC travel insurance if you are non-vaccinated. If you're vaccinated, you can buy it if you want. It's regular insurance with a COVID a COVID portion to it. But if you're non-vaccinated, you have to buy it. You cannot cruise without it, and you can't buy an outside company's insurance. It has to be MSC's insurance. So those are a few of the different kind of things that we're doing right now in regards to vaccination. So, I mean, are there any comments or questions that you guys might have about that? I know I didn't cover everything.
You're doing quite a good job. We're covering quite a bit of ground here. Now, what about capacity?
So capacity starting out is going to be right around 40%, somewhere in that vicinity, and then we'll slowly bump it up as time goes on, and we're able to.
Okay.
Tom, are you delaying departures on sailings like many of the other cruise lines are now departing at 7 instead of 4:30?
Well, we have always departed at 7 o'clock, actually, Bob, from Miami. So because we have an international clientele on board our ships, sometimes people have to fly in from other countries to board our ships. So we actually have always had a 7 p.m. Departure time, and we'll stick with that.
Okay. Any other questions?
I do have
Yes, go, Bob.
one person has recently asked me, cleaning the rooms.
Yes.
Do you have to be out of the room when they're cleaning? I mean, most people like to be out of. There's protocol about interaction of the crew and in the cabins and things like that. Is it more of a touchless society at this point?
Well, as far as cleaning goes, we're doing a much, I wouldn't say a better job, because we've always been a very clean company as far as how we maintain the ships and the cabins. But we
different protocols is what you're doing. Different protocols for cleaning in terms of more in-depth cleaning.
More in-depth cleaning. We're using different medical grade cleaning solutions now.
Mm-hmm.
So we have made a number of upgrades as far as cleaning to be safer in this pandemic environment.
Good.
And what about staff? What are the Is it a fully vaccinated staff? Is it a partially vaccinated? How is that for MSC?
MSC staff is fully vaccinated. All crew members on board the ships are completely vaccinated.
Okay. Well, do we have any other questions on protocols for this moment, Bob? Not at the moment. Okay.
I'm clear.
Again, if you're watching with us right now and you have any other questions related to that, do let us know. But it seems to be fairly consistent. There's little tweaks, little differences. But as we're watching all of the cruise lines return here in the U.S., the insurance is the difference, whether you're showing proof of vaccination or you're not showing the proof of vaccination. It's the insurance. It's a little bit extra testing that's involved. And then it's interesting to see the intricacies of, if you're traveling with the party and the testing positive or negative, those specific examples are interesting to hear, because I haven't heard to that level of detail from any representative yet. That's very cool.
And if you go to our consumer site, MSC Cruises USA, right when you get to the homepage, on the very top, it says something about travel advisories and safety protocols. You can click on that, and it lists all of our different safety protocols for both the Caribbean sailings as well as the European sailings, because they are different.
Okay. And in Europe, is there major differences of how they're running it in Europe?
Well, there really haven't been any major differences sailing out of Genoa and in the Med. But we did start sailing out of Southampton back in May, and all passengers, they're only allowing UK passengers at this time, and they're all vaccinated. So right now, sailing out of the UK, the passengers do have to be fully vaccinated. So that's probably the one major difference, or the major exception that's different than what the rest of Europe is doing.
I mean, it's so interesting to see how each country is kind of maneuvering this and how they're restarting. But we're just so happy that there is a path forward and that cruising is happening again. So again, the special, we just can't say it enough, this free balcony upgrade. So cool. Do you want to say any more words on that before we get into a little fun surprise for our ending?
Well, I mean, the price point is just amazing. And I just urge anybody who's ever wanted to go cruise, I mean, this is the time to do it. It's a great way to get a balcony cabin at a low rate. And also, if you're a past cruiser and you've cruised a lot but are just kind of curious about what's going on right now, check it out. And also, if you've never sailed with MSC, a nice short cruise, at a low rate is a great way to go out and test a product. We know if you go out on MSC and take advantage of this deal, we'll have you for a lifelong customer, which is what we'd like.
Well, and of course, now the questions keep on rolling in. Steve asked, do we have to have a COVID test upon returning to the U.S. port?
Okay, so for sailings that are 5 nights or longer, if you are non-vaccinated, you will get a COVID test on board the ship before you depart, and so yes, you will get a COVID test on the ship.
And you said that if it's 5 nights,
5
or
nights
longer.
or longer.
Okay, but if it's less,
and you're non-vaccinated.
Okay, but if it's less, it's not necessary at this point in time.
If it's less, we do not do testing on board the ship once the ship has sailed. Yes, unless we suspect something. But no.
Tom, I'm thinking to the future. I'm thinking towards the end of 2022. I know that MSC has a very good exclusive relationship with Brightline Trains. And now that they're coming to Orlando, are there going to be any specials with Brightline to get you down to Miami when you can get right to the port of Miami? But I know that they take care of all your luggage for you.
Yeah, well, we're the official cruise line of Brightline, and we had been using them back in 2019 to get our passengers from Lauderdale and West Palm down into Miami. And so, yeah, it'll be great when Orlando opens up and we can start doing the same.
Definitely. Excellent. Yeah. And the good thing about that is it's seamless. When you check your luggage in at Orlando Airport, you don't see it till it gets on the ship.
That's exactly right. You got your own carry-ons you carry, but your other luggage just goes right to the ship and you meet it there.
We have another question right here about are people wearing masks at the indoor shows and bars?
Yes, if you are inside the ship, you do have to. A mask is required to be worn on the interior of the ship. Now, like I said, if you're eating and drinking, like sitting down, in a restaurant, no, you don't have to. But as you're walking around any of the indoor areas, you would need to have a mask on. Yes.
But if you're sitting at a small table in a bar area, you should be okay to return if you're actively. Is it actively drinking or? people want to know.
Well, yeah, if you're sitting in a bar and you're having a drink, the mask. If you're having a drink, the mask is not required. No.
It's just keep the distance. Keep the distance, like we've all been doing.
Exactly.
Okay. Very good. All right. Let's see. So again, if you are interested in any of these specials, reach out to your Go Travel advisor at gotravel.com or just reach out to them directly. If you do not have a travel advisor, reach out to us at gotravel.com and we'll connect you with a cruise specialist who knows MSC like the back of their hand. Call us, message us, live chat with us. Anyway, because we want you to be able to have a seamless experience, go on that cruise, but obviously, there's all kinds of little things that you need to know. Things are constantly changing. Tom will call us every time that there's an update and do an update session with our advisor team. So talk to your advisor because they're going to be able to walk you through this every step of the way. Now, Tom, on our way out today, I just love all of the cool futuristic stuff that MSC is always up to. Can you talk to us about your robot?
Well, yes, Julia. Well, we have coming on board our ships basically a robot bartender. So the robot bartender will make your drinks for you, and you can just order them right there. And it's kind of a cool little thing that we've brought on board some of our newer ships, and just a nice new piece of technology and something interesting for people to talk about.
Well, if you are interested, reach out to us at gotravel.com. Tom, so lovely to have you here today. I love getting this great update about what's going on with MSC. Any final words of advice for our travelers out there?
I'd like to give you guys some kudos. If your audience is listening, I've worked with Go Travel since my early days at Premier Cruise Lines back in the 90s. It's been a great company here in Central Florida, and you guys have always been terrific travel partners, and you're obviously a very reputable agency. You've been in business for a very, very long time. So I would urge anybody who's listening to definitely use Go Travel to book their travel. I know all your travel advisors are extremely knowledgeable on our product as well as all the other products out there. And we just appreciate your support in business.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, well, I've known you. I was on the cruise where you met your wife.
You were.
So, yes, that's how far back it goes.
Appreciate that, Tom. Well, see everybody next week, Tuesday, right here for Tuesday Travel Chat at 2 p.m. And in the meantime, enjoy this fun little video getting to know the robot from MSC. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Julia. Thanks, Bob.
Welcome to the Starship Club.